Good evening and welcome to the 5th annual Arlington Cares celebration. My name is Lisa Fikes and it's my honor to serve as the acting president and CEO of the Leadership Center for Excellence. Volunteer Arlington, a public-private partnership between the Leadership Center and Arlington County, seeks to connect individuals, groups, and businesses with local volunteer opportunities. When those connections are happening, it truly makes a difference in our community. And especially after the past 15 to 16 months, these connections are worth celebrating. So thank you so much to each person for taking the time to come and celebrate volunteerism with us tonight. We are in for a wonderful evening of truly inspiring stories. As we seek to deepen the breadth and depth of the volunteer spirit that is so valued here in Arlington County, we also want to thank our generous Volunteer Arlington sponsors. Our visionary sponsor, the Shushan Company, is a shining example of a business who cares about the community. And thank you also to our community sponsors, Searle Solutions and Striking Media, who are also with us here tonight. I'm so excited to be here with all of you tonight as we celebrate individuals who make a genuine difference through their service to others. This past year, in the midst of a global pandemic, we have witnessed suffering, continued systemic challenges, and racial inequalities. But we have also had the opportunity to see community rally in ways that remind us of the power of one person who cares. We've seen the importance of listening and learning about systems which were operating as they were originally intended, but not as they should continue. And we've witnessed the beauty of hearts coming together for the well-being of their neighbors. This is the spirit that we choose to celebrate here tonight. The individuals we honor this evening are a living example of so many in this community, and they serve as a reminder to each of us that Arlington cares deeply.
Volunteers in Arlington have been the center of everything that we've done well this past year, and we've done a lot well. They have helped feed our residents. They've helped take care of our healthcare providers. I am thrilled to be here today because we're right next to Arlington Mill Community Center, which is one of the sites that has been so important to the health of our community. It's been a testing site, and now we're getting vaccines here. I'm thrilled that we're getting to talk about volunteerism at a location that is really exactly where we need volunteers and need services.
Volunteers are vital to Arlington Free Clinic and to the community. We are a volunteer-driven organization. We have 450 volunteers on our roster who do everything from treat patients, primary care and specialty care, to physical therapy, dental. They do our eligibility process. They are vital to our operations. They really get the job done. And when we, pre-COVID, when we had clinics, we would have 2 staff members and 30 volunteers treating the patients that night. And that's how everything got done.
Arlington residents have a real sense of caring for other people. And I think it's the sense of understanding the big picture and understanding we need to care for our neighbors that has really steadily motivated Arlington residents.
From a young age, I've always really valued volunteering as well as generosity because of my parents. It was something that was really important to them, and they really taught me that you should give back in 3 ways: with your time, your talent, and your treasure. It's extremely important for corporations to be involved in the community. So if a corporation can integrate into their community and be able to help support the community from the grassroots level, they can help create a whole person and a person who can be involved in both their work, corporate citizenship, as well as their community at the same time. I've been mentoring a young lady in their youth leadership program and helping her catch up on schoolwork, helping her with learning more about financial stability, as well as creating concrete goals to reach some of her big dreams for the future.
You can absolutely be a volunteer at any age. Arlington Free Clinic has volunteers as young as 18, and our most senior volunteer just turned 90. And I had the privilege of getting him set up with telemedicine, and he's become a pro and now sees his patients from home on a monthly basis, just like he used to.
So every year, Accenture has an annual day of service in the DC area where they have over 1,000 volunteers who get together in the morning for some camaraderie. In the afternoon, all of the volunteers go out to different organizations throughout Arlington and DC to volunteer and really give back to our community.
I think Arlington is a stronger community at this moment than it was 16 months ago. I think we appreciate the ordinary things of going to lunch and not wearing a mask, or the companionship of just seeing a friend is sweeter, and that's in part because we've done so much to get to this point where we have a very low incidence of COVID in our community and we're fully in our recovery. So in that sense, I think we're a stronger community in some ways, but I do think our compassion is deeper and our kindness is more consistent than it was.
And a big thank you to Striking Media for putting that wonderful video together for us. Let's get started honoring our Community Service Award winners. Presenting our first award tonight, we have the Volunteer Arlington Award, and it's going to be presented by Will Flagler, who is the Deputy Director for the Arlington County Public Safety, Communications, and Emergency Management. Thanks for joining us tonight, Will.
Thank you for having me. Like you said, the Volunteer Award recognizes a volunteer coordinator, paid or unpaid, who has done exceptional work with volunteer engagement. This year, we are pleased to present not one, not two, but 3 Volunteer Arlington Awards to 2 groups and 1 individual. Since April 2020, over 100 volunteers with the COVID Task Force of Arlington's Community Emergency Response Team, CERT, have provided our neighbors with more than 4,000 hours of service throughout this tragic health crisis. CERT volunteers work 7 days a week and nearly 1,000 shifts while rapidly adapting to changes during this emergency. The task force assisted the Arlington community with a resilient approach, offering solutions and demonstrating problem-solving capabilities. They distributed food packages to vulnerable populations and quarantine hotels in the early days, and in the time they supported vaccination clinics at both county and community centers and churches. In the face of lockdowns and social distancing, CERT volunteers mobilized and played a crucial role in the coronavirus response. As testing sites opened, even before immunization was available, these volunteers lent a hand. They can be counted among the first responders to the outbreak. The group includes Arlington residents that volunteer to support their community. As a result, they have a deep understanding of local needs. The Arlington CERT COVID-19 Task Force is notorious for volunteering in underserved zip codes, and their can-do attitude during these unique times has been inspiring. Accepting on behalf of CERT is Sue McLean.
Hi, thank you. I'm delighted to accept this award on behalf of Arlington CERT teammates, including our amazing leader, Les Garrison, who's currently in Iowa at Ragbri, biking 454 miles for relaxation, which is amazing. We've been honored to be able to work closely with the county agencies and so many other volunteer groups during the pandemic. It's really impressive how our community has come together in a crisis. CERT has executed 13 activations and planned 5 others, providing approximately 3,000 to 4,000 hours to COVID relief. There are basically too many of our team members and team leaders to mention, but I'd like to just give a special thanks to Frank Merrick and David Harrop for their work at the vaccination clinics. At last count, Frank did over 70 shifts. Thank you also to Rigo Leftwich and Amanda McGevitt for doing over 60 shifts as food angels at our quarantine hotels. Thank you.
Thank you, Sue. Now I'd like to introduce the Medical Reserve Corps as our second award recipient tonight. They're the second group to receive the volunteer award this year is the Medical Reserve Corps. These dedicated and talented volunteers have been taking time from their work and home lives to support the COVID response and keep our community safe during the pandemic. The county would not have been able to run its testing or vaccination clinics if it weren't for the MRC volunteers. They have supported all clinics, all locations, even 7-day rotation clinics. Before the vaccine distribution began, MRC supported contact tracing, testing, logistics, elections, long-term care facilities, and other elements within our community's COVID-19 response. They have truly become an integral part of Arlington's public health. Accepting on behalf of the Medical Reserve Corps is Christina Crespo.
Hi, everyone. I want to welcome all the volunteers and supporters here tonight. I'm Christina Crespo. I'm the Medical Reserve Corps coordinator for Arlington County Public Health, and I'd like to thank you all for joining us tonight, and thank you, Volunteer Arlington, for organizing such a wonderful event. I'm truly honored to accept this award on behalf of all the MRC volunteers in our county. I'd like to thank everyone who stepped up and signed up to give back to their community in a time of uncertainty and crisis. Our MRC volunteers have worked more than 40,000 hours in our COVID response, which would be equivalent to more than $1 million in monetary value. The Arlington County and our Public Health Division are eternally grateful. We couldn't have done it without you. We will continue to shine, train, and prepare for the next crisis. Thank you.
Thank you, Christina. These two groups have been vital to our community this past year, and speaking directly from the Department of Public Safety, Communications, and Emergency Management, which has a lead role in COVID response, I can attest to everything that was written, and I've seen it for myself. And again, I really thank these two organizations. And I have one more here, and then you guys can get rid of me. We're going to go here to Kate Nadeau. In an unprecedented year, it only seems right to have a record number of Volunteer Arlington Awards. Our third recipient is Kate Nadeau. Kate has been the Director of Volunteer Resources at the Arlington Free Clinic since November 2018. Kate is responsible for all aspects of the clinic's 450 medical and non-medical volunteers. Volunteers are the heart of AFC and are integrated into all aspects of patient care. In the last year, AFC volunteers donated more than 15,000 hours of service, enabling AFC to serve low-income, uninsured patients in over 8,000 visits. Aside from one part-time staff nurse practitioner, all AFC care is provided by volunteers. Serving in this role is a significant responsibility, which has only gotten bigger during Kate's tenure, and above and beyond doesn't even begin to describe Kate's approach. Last March, when the pandemic hit, vulnerable AFC patients still needed medical care, but it was unsafe to come on site. Kate's job effectively doubled as AFC's world turned upside down, but she used her great skills to begin troubleshooting and leading AFC through this process. She was critical in identifying a telehealth platform and putting a plan in place to recruit and train volunteers, many of whom are retired and not too tech savvy, to deliver virtual patient care. Arlington's Free Clinic's 85% volunteer retention rate is at an all-time high, despite the pandemic that completely altered our volunteer roles. That is a testament to Kate's visionary thinking, her abilities, and genuine passion for AFC. She is an energetic, kind leader and a team player who puts AFC and its staff, volunteers, and patients at the top of her list. Please join me in welcoming Kate to the stage.
Hi, thanks so much. Thank you to Volunteer Arlington for this recognition. It's not something I was expecting after this past year. I've always considered myself very privileged to have this role. However, in 2020, I was particularly lucky. It was and continues to be a very hard year, but through the worst of it, it's been my job to spend 40 hours a week working with people who want to find ways to move forward and care for the most vulnerable of their community. They represent the best of the medical community and are always finding time to lend a hand, from patient education calls at the outset of the pandemic to making the shift to telehealth for everything from specialty care and mental health to physical therapy, to setting up vaccine clinics with all new volunteers. They never wavered. They never said this is too hard. My volunteers, and I do call them my volunteers, are what make this job special. And their support of me and Arlington Free Clinic is what has allowed us to make it through. So thank you to Volunteer Arlington, but also thank you to the volunteers in Arlington who have risen to the occasion and gotten us through this unprecedented year.
Congratulations, Kate, and the Arlington CERT volunteers and the Medical Reserve Corps volunteers. I've already got the goosebumps flowing here and hearing their stories and their passion and their care for how they've organized this past year and truly loved what they've done in the midst of it. So congratulations to all of you. As we move forward, a couple thoughts about volunteerism, and not just about individual volunteers, but about those volunteers who care enough to go above and beyond over a prolonged period of time. There's always value when an individual or group performs a singular act of service. This past year, we saw hundreds and thousands of people step up to make a difference for a prolonged period of time. For some, it was a donation to buy a neighbor lunch, buy a neighbor groceries, or to buy a neighbor school supplies. For some, it was safely volunteering from the comfort of their own home in order to share passions and causes they cared about supporting. And for others, they took the time to listen and learn about the needs of our community. And they worked on DIY projects, or we call them do-it-yourself projects, such as making shower caddies or anti-boredom bundles for residents at local shelters. There's a joy that transpires when a need is filled. There's a power in that caring. Call it mystical, call it transformative, call it a number of things. But when we can find that space outside of ourselves, our lives are enriched and our community is enriched as a result. Now magnify that. When a volunteer identifies their passion and commits to giving freely of their time, their skills, and their heart, and they do so for a prolonged period of time, that magic can be exponential. Those opportunities looked a bit different this year, but when those individuals who were willing to serve on the front lines of the pandemic over a prolonged period of time, they really could be considered heroes in my book. And that's the kind of selfless care that we want to celebrate at this point. The following individuals or groups have given more than 100 hours to their particular organizations in the past year. Let's take a moment to thank them and see their names. Thank you to each and every one of you. With our nonprofit and county partners, your bravery, your compassion, and your steadfastness worked to protect and care for so many of our neighbors this past year. Please know how much we really appreciate your dedication. At this point in our program, we're going to transition to giving our specific community service awards. I'm delighted to introduce Laura Jackson, who is the Resident Services Volunteer Coordinator at AHC, to present our first specific award, our Youth Service Award. Thanks for being here, Laura.
Thank you so much for having me. The Youth Service Award is given to a young person who has chosen to go above and beyond service hour requirements. This award celebrates initiative, finding a passionate cause, and creating a way to make a significant impact in the lives of those other than oneself. This year's recipient is Amira Chaudhry. As we all remember, face masks quickly became a critical safety item during the COVID-19 pandemic. Amira Chaudhry, who was a 4th grade student at Taylor Elementary School at the time, organized 4 mask drives to support AHC residents. Amira reached out to AHC during the summer of 2020 when it was becoming clear that COVID would be here a while. She had thought of doing a mask collection, but wanted to do a project that would truly be needed. I told her it would be. In Amira's mask drive, she collected adult and child-sized masks in a variety of sizes and patterns. She packaged them individually and then displayed them in a colorful Take a Mask box, so AHC residents could select the size and color they wanted. Demonstrating her leadership and passion, Amira organized 3 more mask drives, reaching out to her neighbors, school community, and the Million Mask movement. In each of the 4 mask drives, Amira exceeded her goal, so AHC was able to give out multiple masks to residents and provide masks to additional AHC communities. The masks provided an immediate and tangible way that AHC staff could help meet residents' needs during the pandemic. Please join me in welcoming Amira to the stage.
Thank you so much. I am very humbled and honored. Giving back to the community and serving as a volunteer has really brought happiness to my life, and that I hope it has brought happiness to yours. Both hearing and seeing people struggle during the pandemic made me hurt inside, and I knew that volunteering would make a difference. Volunteering has always been a part of my life, and I hope that it becomes a part of yours. Giving back has brought me not only joy, but also hope. Helping and serving the community has meant so much to me because it helps others and it reminds me to be grateful for the blessings I have. The main lesson that I have learned from serving is that you should find ways to give back often, because there isn't only one special day to volunteer and give back. You should even make it part of your daily lives. And I hope this inspires you to volunteer and help the community as much as you can.
Wow, Amira, you are so inspiring. Thank you so much. Now I will introduce Elizabeth Jones Valderrama. She is the Executive Director of OAR of Arlington, Alexandria, and Falls Church, and she will present the Group Service Award.
Hi, it's good to see you, Laura. Thank you so much. My name is Elizabeth Jones Valderrama, and I am very excited about chatting about our amazing Group Service Award. So, as you know, the Group Service Award is given to a group who has made caring and volunteerism a core value. The recipients of this year's award are Annabelle Cruz Zelaya, Mohamed Kasi, and Trang Pham. This amazing group of individuals understands the importance of food delivery to do so many of our residents. Throughout the COVID pandemic, it was even more important for Annabelle, Mohamed, and Trang to take 3 hours of each week to organize and distribute food from AFAC, Arlington Food Assistance Center, to those in need. So each Monday morning, these dedicated volunteers came to Arlington Mill Community Center to set up tables, receive food from AFAC, organize crates of rice, beans, cereal, vegetables, milk, and eggs, and then assist with distributing the food to 70 to 90 families or so every single week. So they consistently go above and beyond the call of duty by also delivering food to those neighbors who are unable to leave their homes. Anabel, Mohammed, and Trang are an amazing example of a group of people recognizing a need and working together to meet that need with grace and love. I'm thrilled to introduce you to Seneb, who's a friend of mine and my mommy's, who is accepting the award on the group's behalf. Hi, Seneb.
Hi, Elizabeth, and thank you so much. And thank you so much for Volunteer Arlington for this reward that I will accept with honor on behalf of our volunteers. It's with great honor to accept this, the Group Service Award for Arlington Mill Community Center Food Distribution, a program offered through AFAC. What a wonderful way to show appreciation to our volunteers, Ms. Anabella Cruz Stelaya, Ms. Trang Fan, and Mr. Mohammed Kazi. I would like to highlight, just like Elizabeth said, that our volunteers not only assist with the food distribution, they also deliver groceries to those who could not come in person during the pandemic. Thank you, Ms. Trang, who during the beginning of the pandemic had sewn over 300 masks and offered them to those who are in need. Thank you, Annabelle, for another program that we have for assistance for another program, the diaper banks, that we assist with our clients during on Wednesdays. Thank you, Mr. Mohammed, for being there always for the clients who speak different languages and putting a smile and helping them with what they need. I would like to take this opportunity to thank you for all these years of service. Thank you for showing up on time. Thank you for being flexible during the pandemic and putting a smile under the mask. I would never be able to thank you enough for the services, for the hours that you had, that they offer to us. We really appreciate your time, energy, your enthusiasm, and your willingness to give back to the community. And thank you, Volunteer Arlington, for the award and for the service that you offer. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Seneb. I really like hearing from you.
Thank you.
And next, we want to go ahead and introduce Cheryl Beaversdorf, who is the producer and host of Aging Matters. So I invite Cheryl to come on in.
Thank you, Elizabeth. It is a pleasure to be here and to give this very distinguished award, the RSVP Award, to the recipient, who I will introduce in a moment. But first of all, a little bit of information about RSVP. The RSVP Award represents the efforts of the RSVP Northern Virginia program, and therefore RSVP, I just want to make sure you understand, RSVP stands for Retired Service Volunteer Program. It's America's largest volunteer network for people age 55 and over. And RSVP is a program of the senior core of the Corporation for National and Community Service, and RSVP Northern Virginia is sponsored by Volunteer Fairfax in partnership with Volunteer Arlington and Volunteer Alexandria. And this award is given to an individual who is 55 years old or could be older and has used his or her skills and interests to make a valuable, lasting impact in our community. And the recipient of Volunteer Arlington's 2021 RSVP Service Award is Bill Marshall. So I want to tell you a little bit about Bill Marshall. When Bill Marshall retired 4 years ago, he discovered he's not very good at retirement. In fact, that's a quote. I'm just not good at retirement. So because he was a former builder of high-end homes, he discovered Rebuilding Together, Arlington, Fairfax, and Falls Church. And he began volunteering for teams that make health and safety repairs for homeowners in need. Bill leads small teams of skilled volunteers making critical home modifications and repairs to help low-income homeowners age in place. The pandemic directly and deeply affected Rebuilding Together and, in fact, forced them to cancel National Rebuilding Day in both 2020 and 2021 due to the risks in bringing large teams of volunteers together to tackle extensive repairs on multiple homes. But as the pandemic has forced us all to stay at home more, it made health and safety hazards in homes more pressing. As a Rebuilding Together Express team leader and chair of the board's program committee, Bill helped change operations to protect both clients and volunteers from COVID-19 and allow small teams of volunteers to continue making health and safety repairs. As a lifelong advocate for safety and worker protection, Bill worked with staff and 5 other Rebuilding Together Express team leaders to develop a detailed set of worksite safety protocols and policy changes to allow small teams to continue working safely to correct health and safety hazards. So as a result, small teams of volunteers have completed critical repairs and accessibility modifications to more than 60 homes in Arlington and Fairfax County since July 2020. And I just want to welcome Bill Marshall, and I also want to say how pleased I was actually in June that I invited Patty Klein, who is the executive director of Rebuilding Together Arlington Fairfax Falls Church. So I learned a lot about Rebuilding Together, and now I've learned a lot about Bill Marshall. So please join me in welcoming Bill Marshall.
Hello, and thank you for this wonderful honor. It is certainly unexpected. As is noted with all of your organizations, COVID was a very challenging speed bump for us at Rebuilding Together, and we tried to work as safely as we could and continued working to protect our clients and our volunteers, and we are constantly changing those protocols as science allows and doing the best we can. We do projects each week. 4 or 5 skilled volunteers typically will go into a home for 4 or 5 hours, and we will spend $400 or $500 at no cost to the homeowner. Generally, our clients are elderly homeowners. There's an awful lot of real estate wealthy but cash poor folks in Arlington, and we'll go in and do some safety repairs, including building handicap ramps to give them access to areas that they haven't been able to get to, either outside and inside. We'll put chair lifts from the first floor to the second floor. We'll add second railings to handrails. We'll put in grab bars, smoke detectors, and make general repairs. Rebuilding Together did not have National Rebuilding Day in 2020 and 2021 on the last Saturday in April. We are going to have one in October, on October 2nd, and we will hopefully have one again on the last Saturday in 2022. We also occasionally do some special projects, and I just wanted to tell you about one that we're working on this week. There are 2 young teenage boys who live with their family in Arlington.
Cheryl, thank you. I think that Bill might be having some technical difficulties.
Okay.
And I'm not sure if you can hear me. So if we want to go ahead and introduce Tracy Gabriel for the next award, and we'll see if we can get Bill back up here momentarily.
Okay, so I should introduce Tracy Gabriel, the president and executive director of the National Landing Business Improvement District, and she will be presenting the Distinguished Corporate Service Award.
Good evening. It's my pleasure to be introducing the Distinguished Corporate Service Award. The Distinguished Corporate Service Award is given to a private Arlington business or corporation or employee volunteer group that through volunteerism has shown outstanding commitment and care to the citizens of Arlington. The recipient of Volunteer Arlington's Distinguished Corporate Service Award goes to Accenture. On a regular basis, Accenture works with Arlington businesses, organizations, nonprofits, and governments With nearly 10,000 people in the Metro DC area, Accenture recognizes it has an extraordinary opportunity to have a positive impact and to make a difference. Every year, we volunteer with more than 50 nonprofits during their day of service in our local communities, including Arlington Education and Employment Program, Arlington Food Assistance Center, or AFAC, and Bridges to Independence, contributing more than 8,000 volunteer hours across the Metro DC region in just one day. In December of 2020, over 30 Accenture volunteers led more than 20 virtual Hour of Code events, teaching coding to roughly 400 Arlington County students. And recently, they supported the Literacy Council of Northern Virginia's efforts in digitizing English language courses for their workforce training program, and shaping a skills-based volunteering project to support strategic rebranding initiatives. And as many nonprofits in our area know well, Accenture Board Service, another valuable addition to civic engagement, can be seen throughout the fabric of the community, our community. Tonight, we are joined by one of their newest employees, Niati McLeod, who not only volunteered with Bridges to Independence on this one day of service, but decided to continue her service with Bridges throughout the year as a youth mentor and a committee member for a fundraiser. Niati is truly a great example of having just one day have a ripple effect for both an individual and an organization. So I am so pleased to celebrate the work of Accenture here tonight, and accepting the award on their behalf is Niati McLeod. Niati?
Hi, thank you so much. I just want to thank Arlington Cares on behalf of Accenture for this award, and I want to thank Bridges to Independence for their nomination. It has truly been a privilege to work with the Bridges staff and clients over this past year. They're doing great work in the community and are always incredibly thoughtful in their approach to serving the people of Arlington. And one of the reasons I myself chose to work for Accenture is we share the same dedication to serve our local communities. And I've been able to contribute in just a small way to that mission here in Arlington. And it's truly amazed me how many people from Accenture and DC Arlington community have been able to rally behind that. So I want to especially thank our Accenture Arlington leaders in serving the community, including Marty Rogers, Elaine Turville, Roy Lee, Tyler Frederick, and so many others. So thank you, Arlington Cares. Accenture truly appreciates the honor of this award.
Thank you, Nancy. And I think your service and the service of all your colleagues at Accenture really underscore the kind of culture of volunteerism that can have an impact on our community in such a positive way. So thank you, and thank you to Accenture. And now I'd like to take a moment to introduce Jerusalem Solomon, who will be presenting 2 Distinguished County Service Awards. And Jerusalem comes to us from Arlington County. Jerusalem?
I think I was told we should pause for a moment. Were we able to get Bill back up? All right. I'm going to go ahead. Never mind.
Not sure. Am I audible?
I can hear you.
Okay. Just wanted to quickly talk about a project that we were doing this week, which is a family here in Arlington who have twin teenage boys who have muscular dystrophy. The family was carrying these boys into the bathroom because it had a very small door. And we are in there with a group of volunteers this week, opening that door from a small door to a 48-inch door. We tore the shower pan out and put in a shower that they will be able to drive their wheelchairs into. This will make a huge difference for this family. This is just such a rewarding thing for us to be able to do. And again, thank you all. Thank you all for volunteering. Thanks for all you do, and thanks for whoever thought of honoring me. Don't deserve it any more than any of the other volunteers at RT.
Thank you so much, Bill. All right, well, hello everyone. I'm thrilled to be here among so many inspiring individuals. Our next award, the Distinguished County Service Award, is given to an individual or group who through volunteerism has shown outstanding commitment and care to the citizens of Arlington County. I am pleased to give this award to two well-deserving people this year. This year's first Distinguished County Service Award goes to Bernard Piper. Bernard Bernie Piper has been volunteering weekly at AHC's education programs for the last 11 years during COVID. But during COVID, Bernie expanded his volunteer work and made a lasting impression. Thanks to the support of dedicated staff and volunteers like Bernie, they have been able to continue to provide after-school, college and career readiness, and summer camp programs for children and teens living in AHC communities throughout the pandemic. When schools closed in March 2020, AHC wanted to continue to support students in its education programs. Yet, the education staff members and most of AHC's 250 volunteers had never used Zoom. Luckily, Bernie quickly taught himself various Zoom features so he could continue effectively tutoring his AHC student. Bernie was willing to share his knowledge with fellow volunteers and staff. He made training documents, led training sessions, and adapted lessons based on volunteers' questions. With Bernie's expertise and guidance, AHC successfully moved its education programs to Zoom. Knowing AHC was already in place to support students, he gave parents one less worry at a time when they needed to focus on finding work hours and staying healthy. Bernie, please join us on stage to accept your award.
Thanks, excuse me. Thanks to Volunteer Arlington for selecting me for this award and to AHC for nominating me. As someone who's both a nerd and kind of a know-it-all, I've always had a passion for education. So AHC is a good fit for me. However, AHC's Resident Services program offers a holistic approach, not just in education, but in a wide array of social services toward the care of its residents, by offering programming beginning with young children and its after-school program, the seniors, and everyone in between at its properties. When people have asked me over the years, why do I volunteer? My answer is simple: because I'm selfish. The best part about volunteerism, when you find something that really connects you with your passion or even your interest, is that it connects you to a broader world and you become much more satisfied with yourself, whether it be physically, socially, intellectually, or all of the above. And the best part is it costs you absolutely nothing. And you might accidentally help somebody else in the process too. So it's a good deal all the way around. But in all seriousness, I know there's much work to do. I also know that I'm blessed to live in such a civic-minded community, and thank all of the countless other volunteers who graciously share their time and their passion with others. This attitude and energy by my fellow Arlingtonians greatly contribute to the privilege that we all have of living in such a world-class community. Thank you all.
Thank you so much for all you do, Bernie, and congratulations on this very well-deserved recognition. Now to introduce our next award recipient. In addition to being a partner and owner of her own law firm, Kelly Thompson, the second recipient of the Distinguished County Service Award, has thoughtfully and compassionately brought her valuable expertise in the areas of special needs planning, elder law, and guardianship and conservatorship to those in need. Kelly has served as a community legal representative for the Aging and Disability Services Division, a part of Arlington County's DHS, guardianship panel for more than 15 years. This panel meets monthly to serve as a check and balance for staff members within the Department of Human Services to discuss complex cases that may require a more restrictive intervention to ensure the safety and well-being of the clients they serve. Kelly has served with distinction, routinely providing panel members with a competent and comprehensive view into the legal landscape of guardians, conservators, and other forms of substitute decision-making. She often provides a unique legal perspective of needs versus convenience and impact versus intent, although panel members tend to cycle off every 2 years. Ms. Thompson has passionately requested to continue her service, a service that has provided priceless benefits to DHS, clients, staff, and other community partners. Please join me in welcoming Kelly Thompson to receive this year's second Distinguished County Service Award.
Thank you so much. I am beyond extremely honored to receive this award. My family moved to Arlington 52 years ago, and I've lived here most of the time since then, raised my daughter here. I'm a proud graduate of Wakefield High School, go Warriors, and I have to quietly admit that I sent my daughter to Yorktown High School. Don't tell anybody. There's a lot of rivalry, North versus South. I can't imagine living anywhere else for sort of the same reasons Bernie said. We are so civic-minded here in Arlington. I really, really enjoy that. My law practice is focused on serving families and individuals with disabilities and do all aspects of that. I'm very fortunate as a lawyer to be able to go home every Friday night and say I really helped some folks this week. Not many lawyers feel that way. And I've been delighted to share that with the county, and I'm extremely pleased that I was nominated for my role on the guardianship panel because I think it's been extremely important. Thank you so much, and I'm approaching retirement, but that'll just give me more time to volunteer, right? Thank you.
Thank you, Kelly. I think I speak for all when I say thank you so much for your invaluable work in our community. Now I'd like to welcome back Elizabeth Jones Valderrama, President and CEO of OAR, to present the Lifetime of Service Award presenter.
Hey, Jerry, good to see you.
Hi.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be back to talk about this Lifetime of Service Award. So the award recognizes and celebrates an individual for whom volunteerism and service to others is part of the fabric of their being. Whether through their organized volunteer work or through their pattern of consistently thinking of and acting on others' needs before their own, this person's life is an example of lived community. So before I tell you who the recipient is, I was so thrilled when the team asked me to present this award, because at OAR, we're a nonprofit that works with individuals who are coming out of incarceration and their families, completing community service, and also working on liberation and racial justice. And the recipient of this year's award, Mark Riley, is not only a good friend of the OAR mission, but of me and everything that OAR stands for as well. So I was thrilled to be able to tell you about Mark. So let me tell you a little more about him. So as a child, Mark Riley's mother encouraged him to go outside, look for a friend to play with or someone to help. Go knock on doors, she said. And he has been doing that literally and figuratively ever since. Mark Riley devotes every waking moment to volunteering his time to make Arlington County a better place to live for those needing an extra hand. Mark founded Home Run for the Homeless, a 5K benefiting multiple organizations, providing the framework to launch the Arlington Bunny Hop 5K, and he oversees the Arlington Turkey Trot, which benefits local safety net organizations, including OAR. For the Arlington Turkey Trot, he is the chief turkey, overseeing 4,000 walkers and runners and coordinating countless volunteers. He believes in helping our neighbors with a hand up as opposed to a handout. Because of this belief, he invests his time, talent, and treasure to causes that align with his vision. Through his work on Home Run for the Homeless and as chief turkey for the Arlington Turkey Trot, Mark helps raise more than $100,000 annually to go to safety net organizations so that frontline programs can continue, such as shelters, food, youth programming, and programming like OAR. In its 16th year history, the Arlington Turkey Trot has raised over $1 million. Along with that wonderful work, you can also find Mark behind the scenes as he moves donated furniture, runs errands for local nonprofits, and serves as an ambassador for the causes for which he so deeply believes. I'm excited and ask you to help me join in celebrating Mark Riley as he comes on the stage. Welcome, Mark.
Thank you, Elizabeth. I think you have said it all, and I'm glad for that. That is fantastic. That's a great intro. I want to thank Leadership Center for Excellence, as well as Volunteer Arlington. I have been honored and blessed for over 40 years to know and work with so many outstanding people going to extraordinary lengths to help those among us who yearn for a friend and a hand up. It's true, my mother was just relentless in directing me, exhorting me to get outside, go knock on doors. In other words, leave me, Mom, alone. Find a playmate, find someone to help. And I've continued to reach out and help others for all of these years. I got started in the southern United States with the Child Welfare League of America, organizing and advocating for vulnerable families. And here in Arlington for many, many years, all of the things that Elizabeth has mentioned, I have been engaged in and just love, working with and by and for people in our community who want nothing more than to help somebody other than themselves. And the other thing I want to mention about Arlington, and this is something that we all know, is that we have a lot of wealth and a lot of privilege in our county, and we have so much to share, including through our community foundation's Shared Prosperity Initiative and other initiatives, especially to help those who have been here or come here with so little. A big thanks to all the nonprofits and army of volunteers who help them, including the folks that have been here tonight and who often toil in anonymity in Arlington and beyond. And thanks for all we have and all we have to give, particularly at this time for Volunteer Arlington, which provides such an important vehicle to encourage and support volunteerism in our community. And a final thank you. Oh my goodness, I was saying to my friend Christina, who works for Bridges, which was the nonprofit that nominated me, that this is an amazing production. And as a guy who used to be a door knocker and a phone caller and still am, I am blown away by the technology that has brought this community together the way that it's been brought together tonight. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you to all of our award winners tonight and to the whole crew behind the scenes that produced this outstanding event. Appreciate everything. Thank you, Elizabeth.
Thank you so much. It's so wonderful to see you again. And I know Lisa will be joining us shortly. And so Lisa and the team, congratulations on such a fantastic event. Thank you for everything.
Thank you so much, Elizabeth, and thank you so much to the sweet big turkey. Mark, you're an amazing, wonderful person, and all of our award winners tonight have been incredibly inspiring. We so much appreciate you being here, all of you for being here. You're wonderful. You're really a wonderful, shining example of caring. These stories serve as reminders to us. We need you. We need all of you. We need each other as we weave through this life. One person, one group, and one business can truly, truly make a difference. And it's happening right here. So thanks, Arlington, for caring. We've loved celebrating with everybody here tonight. Let's keep the spirit alive. You can find volunteer opportunities at volunteerarlington.org and by following Volunteer Arlington on our social media channel. And last, but certainly not least, a big thank you to our entire team. Mark said it, and I just want to echo his thoughts. On a daily basis, their passion for our mission is evident in all that they think and all that they say and all that they do. And I'm so grateful to each of them as well. Feel free to stay on with us for a few more minutes. Our nonprofit and county partners are going to be virtually in the room with us tonight, so you have a chance to connect with them, to learn a little bit about their mission and ways that you can help and be a part of the volunteer spirit as we move forward this year. Thanks so much for caring, Arlington.